Who have we got here that I'm going to hand this microphone to first? We're just going to keep on staring at you.
My
man.
Get embarrassed and I don't need a microphone.
There we go.
My best story, and I've known Oscar since he was 5 years old, and Westphal boys are kind of ruled the world in many things, but the golf story was a bet that's how he took a bet that he would be a scratch handicap in under 12 months. I don't know, there are a lot of golfers in the room. That is impossible. And Oscar did that. The other thing that made me laugh, so our paths cross all over the planet. Hong Kong, taught my daughter to paddle, 3 years old in a canoe in Epic, which he sold me a whole lot of.
Yeah, good. I'm a good salesman. I think it was.
But Oscar, so when we connected back in Cape Town, and he told me he had cancer. And to be, you know, when someone's in your face like that, and Oscar's been in our face his whole life, because he's that arsehole you spoke about, but it's a very short period when you get to know him, and the most gentle giant on the planet. So we had a coffee in Newlands, and I was shattered, you know. I'd just come from a hectic situation in my life, so I said, Oscar, how are you dealing with this? And he said, I said to him, what did the doctors say? And he said, they've given me 6 months. And I was like so taken aback. So I said, what did you say to the doctor? He said, don't give me 6 months. I will stay alive as long as it takes you to find a cure for me. Now get out there and find a cure. And that's Oscar.
Amazing. Everyone to put money. Any other stories? Yes, sir.
There's Mr. Tim Noakes.
Yeah.
Tim.
And then just 2 away from you.
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Oscar. It's been a lovely evening.
Thank you, Tim, for coming. He's my personal coach for 20 years. He was doing so many studies on me. He pricked me so many times that I never forget. I've known him from 1979. They said, no, I'll never forget. I was racing the Port Elizabeth East London, 250 kilometers.
Listen, whose question is this?
No, but I'm just telling you. So he goes along, and then the last day, it's 50 kilometers, and it's like 35 degrees, hot as hell. I have no juice for the whole day, and he takes my temperature, and it's normal. And he said, there's something wrong. You're supposed to be dehydrated. And I said, no, I didn't get dehydrated. And that's where we met, 1979. So it's a long time ago.
It was 82, actually.
82, okay. He knows his dates. I don't.
So you stole my story, but So it was the 1982 Texan Challenge,
Yeah.
from Port Elizabeth to East London. And we just started teaching sports science at UCT. And we did projects. And so I was asked by my friend to come and be part of the medical team there. So the night before the race, we all gather, all the paddlers gather, and the organizer gets up and says what's going to happen on the next day. So all of a sudden, this youngster of 18 gets up. And what does he say? So what does an 18-year-old get up in front of all these champions who are much older and much more experienced than him? He says the following: guys, you are racing for second. I'm going to win tomorrow. So I knew a little bit about Oscar, but then I realized he's special. He's and when he says about self-belief, I mean, that was one of the most remarkable examples of self-belief.
How did he do the next day?
So we'll come to So I forget where he was lying at the end of the first day, and I remember one of the days was stopped because the weather was so bad. But anyway, the 4th day, which was the key day, so it was the final 50 kilometers, and it was big surf, and the guys had to go through this huge surf, and Oscar lost both of his water bottles as he went through, so now he had to paddle for 40, 50 k's without water. And so we went ahead and waited for him in East London, so we were on the beach, and when he came out, my job was to weigh him and to measure his rectal temperature.
Very nice.
So I have an intimate knowledge about this man. So you have to understand that at the time, the belief was, because of 2 scientists in Johannesburg that if you became dehydrated, your body temperature rose and you're going to die of heat stroke. So Oscar tells me, I see he's lost 5 kilograms from the pre-race to this.
She's like,
So I say, 5 k's, you're going to die. You know, I'm expecting his temperature to be 42, and it turns out it's 37.6, which is completely normal. So then I knew that this was not true. What the theory that was driving the world was not true. And if you go and read over here, there's a book called Waterlogged, which developed out of that true finding.
wow.
Yeah, out of that very finding. What happened next was that the American College of Sports Medicine, which was controlled by the sports drink industry, brought out drinking guidelines that you must drink as much as tolerable during exercise. So that forced a lot of people to overdrink, and as a consequence, in the 1981 Comrades, we described the first condition of a lady who essentially almost died. She was unconscious for 4 days after the race because she overdrank, not because she underdrank and become dehydrated, but because she overdrank. And I was able to understand at that time that her problem was overhydration, not dehydration. And it was partly thanks to Oscar's experiences.
And my rectum.
So thank you, Oscar, for helping us understand a bit more about science. And again, thank you for a fabulous talk, and thank you for being a friend for so long.
No, thank you,
You've
Tim.
been a great
You've been
inspiration.
a good mate for a long time.